August 15th, 1483, the Sistine Chapel is consecrated, fulfilling Jesus' desire for a bitchin' crib. Welcome to The Revisionists. I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
Say your name.
I'm Jason Wardell.
Sorry.
I didn't realize I had to do my own introduction.
Yeah.
Jason and I were distracted by Brian counting himself in silently.
Well, that was also for your benefit.
Thanks.
We could do that again if we want.
No, that's fine. I guess this is just like the alternate history where manners don't exist. And that's fine by me.
Jason, do you want to say a few words about yourself? The listener doesn't know who the fuck you are.
Shit. Hi. Those are two words.
Completely necessary.
I'm Jason. I'm from Denver. I'm on this podcast now, which I guess is my most recent achievement.
He's our former comedy cohort when we three ran a room together. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. You used to do stand-up. Now you do husbanding.
I do husbandry.
Husbandry. That's sure.
Our days is what was our game called? The Yuck 'em Up Brothers?
The Yakov Smirnoff brothers.
Yeah, right.
Yep. I don't have a third one. Those were both great guys.
Oh, yeah. Both.
See, I'm a real husband now.
The Smuckers Brothers.
That's why you're no longer
job.
in the group.
We set you up for a Smuckers Brothers reference and nothing.
What we do on this podcast, if you're unfamiliar, is each episode we take a topic from history. One of us presents a true story of what happened, and another person presents an alternate history. And then we vote, and the winning story becomes accepted history going forward. And our topic for this week is Cleopatra.
Coming at ya.
Cleopatra.
So far, the rhyme is not great.
It rhymes.
We have used the same line twice.
I don't think there's
we're on
any,
line 3, so
there are very few words that end in a schwa, I feel like.
that's why you have to end with a cha.
With a cha. Yeah, sorry, I forgot the first rule of rap.
Light fixture.
Fixture.
I just want to point out that Brian at one point did know the first rule of rap.
Meth mixture.
And,
I
think that's exciting.
The first rule of rap being you start every rap with "My name is blank and I'm here to say." Rule number 1 with a bullet.
Yeah,
the bullet that killed Tupac
and several other rappers.
Well, those were other bullets.
The bullets.
They didn't use the same bullet.
Well, yeah, there are many bullets. There are a lot of rules to rap, actually, I feel like.
And one of them is not we have to reuse the bullets. It's not about a bullet famine in the rap game.
I think there is a rule that does say that like 3 white dudes are going to talk about it.
However,
Yeah.
I could see a popular hip-hop song called Bullet Famine.
Bullet famine? Ooh. Yeah.
From the album Bullets Aren't Cheap, which is actually a Steve Martin SNL thing now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the privilege is thick in here, gentlemen.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Well, true.
All right, so basically, the roles we're assaying today, in the immortal words of the bard, assay. I feel like you
Assay? He would have said that.
Assay. So today, I'm going to be the judge.
Mm-hmm. A role you're very familiar with.
I've done it
He
once
loves
before. I love it. I have the power of the gods.
Once?
Literally the power of the gods to say what is true and what is false.
What is shoe and what is false?
What is true? I think I said true.
It sounded like you said shoe. What is shoe and what is false?
Whatever.
You know, Zach, I'm on your side on this one. I think that, yes,
Well,
I'm going to start sucking up right now.
And there's no way to prove me wrong.
The role of the judge brings very little power on this show.
Objection?
Sustained. So, I'm going to be presenting the true story.
I'm going to present a different true story. No less true, but different.
And I just want to say at the outset, I was kind of hoping this would pan out a little differently when this topic came up, rather than having 3 dudes in the room, but...
Pretty privilegey up in here.
Well, also just because I don't want to give just another male perspective on one of the most prominent female figures in ancient history. But that's kind of how it ended up. And I feel like
that's how it often ends up, right? And that's like white dudes ultimately decide the thing.
Yeah, basically. Also, when I say I feel like I trust us, that's the thing any member of
absolutely.
the patriarchy says.
We should just appreciate it at this point. We should
I think the damage was done by centuries and centuries of white male historians.
Yeah, true. Very true.
I mean,
let's just continue it, guys. We're not. This is no offense, Brian, Zach. This is a podcast. We're not gonna tear apart the historical infrastructure based on this podcast right here. We can try. I'm not saying that I don't want to try. Maybe don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, I mean, my hopes weren't up, but my fears were up.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
Which is how I usually operate.
I was going to say, that sounds like day-to-day operation.
Basically.
Hopes down, fears up.
Hopes down, fears up.
Also a popular hip-hop.
Yeah, hip-hop lyrics.
Yeah, it's the follow-up to Bullets Aren't Cheap.
Bullet Famine, I think it was called, yeah.
In doing the research for Cleopatra, the first thing I learned is that Googling Cleopatra is a great way to find information on Julius Caesar and Mark Antony and other men who are not Cleopatra.
I honestly
at all.
thought that sentence was going to end with the word porn.
Cleopatra porn?
I'm sure it exists in some actually pretty well lit corner of the internet.
Yes.
The lighting. They spend money on lighting.
I'm sure it was
If they spend money on anything, it's lighting.
At the time, there had to be a lot of unofficial Cleopatra porn, like among the commoners.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all the official hieroglyphs I saw of her she was naked.
Yeah.
Man, we really got to reinforce in this patriarchy thing quick.
That's fine. We can just roll with
Fact
it.
is, Rule 34 has existed long before the internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If there's a subject out there, it is carved into stone in pornographic form.
Yeah.
If there's anything out there, yeah.
I feel like after you guys leave, I am going to go on a Google binge for stone tablet pornography just to see what I can find, and then I will never be seen again because it'll be a weird terror dome situation.
I feel like it's a good way to accidentally summon a demon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can see that turning into like a Hellraiser situation almost. Yeah.
Definitely.
You read the hieroglyph, we came, then you came, and then
You're gonna
in that order.
Yeah.
forget the
So
line
the
between
demon-
pain and pleasure.
The demons actually
you're
came,
fucking a
and then
stone
I
hieroglyph.
came even while the demons were there.
the trick is that the demons are inside you.
Wait inside.
Oh,
so
wow. This is getting deep.
Yeah.
and
Guys,
so are they.
this is all a front. We wanted to talk to you kids about porn and the dangers it presents.
So Cleopatra was one of the Ptolemies, the group of pharaohs who took over Egypt after Alexander the Great conquered it. The Ptolemies had a practice of marrying brother to sister or uncle to niece. And all of the men in the family were named Ptolemy, and all of the women were named Cleopatra. So looking at her family tree is the most confusing thing. It's like trying to read a ball of yarn that's on fire.
I'm going to do a quick side note and say that last episode, I talked about a man Caligula killed from North Africa named Ptolemy, who may well have been related to Cleopatra, except that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Caligula was obviously an interdimensional hip-hop mogul.
That's right. That is what we decided.
Well, I was going over my history books the other day, and I read that there was some time travel in Caligula's past. Mm-hmm. And
Caligula's past, he was a screenwriter.
Yeah.
Who penned many movies.
It's
What
all
About
on the
Bob?
wiki page.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mainly What About Bob? That's the only movie I can think of right now.
And he wrote such songs as Bullet Famine,
Bullet Famine.
whatever the other one we said was.
I mean,
Hopes
don't
Down,
mess with
Fears Up.
success.
That's what it's called.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which is actually an appropriate song for Caligula to write.
Hopes down for yourself. So, after the death of her father, Ptolemy, Cleopatra assumed power at age 18, along with her younger brother, Ptolemy, who she then married, who was 10 years old. And this is different from her father, Ptolemy, and also her other brother, Ptolemy, whom she would also later marry.
Nice.
Yeah, but she can't marry her father. That would just be weird.
Well, no, he was dead.
Oh,
also.
okay. Yeah.
So,
I wish Cleopatra had been on a sitcom called Tall of Me.
is that a pun on all of me? Or?
Yeah, and Tall of Me.
Because is that a
I love
phrase?
it.
Tall of me? That's awfully tall of me. Is that a thing?
That's not even a thing.
I think it should be. I think it should. Oh, the name Ptolemy and all of me, but also tall of me.
But that's not.
Maybe that's like her catchphrase.
And then everyone else's catchphrase is, "What are you talking about?"
I thought it would have just been Ptolemy, but like in a disappointed voice. Because she could use that on literally any other character.
Anybody else in the household. Ptolemy, and they're all like, "What?" We're gonna write a script later tonight, Zach.
All right.
That's gonna happen.
All right, I got a pot of coffee going.
So 5 months after she and her brother husband take power, she decides that she'd rather rule without him and takes his name off of all the official documents and takes his face off of all the currency.
Also seems difficult because literally everybody had that name.
Yeah, so again.
I mean, which secures her power all the more. That means that ain't
It
no
was just
Ptolemy
Cleopatra
gonna come
and
on
a bunch
in.
of people who will go unnamed.
So after she takes her brother husband, co-ruler Ptolemy, off of all the official documents, they go to war with each other, and she flees to Syria for safety, which that's the last time that happened.
In this day and age.
Because millions of people.
Well, we're really hitting all the topics tonight, guys.
Yeah. And around the same time, and I'm going to try to not spend much of this real history talking about Julius Caesar or Mark Antony, but they do impact the story, so I kind of have to. At this time...
Thanks for the disclaimer that you then disclaimed.
Right. Yeah, the old double disclaimer.
Yeah, double D.
At this same time, the Roman Civil War is going on between Julius Caesar and Pompey and the forces of the Senate. And it is not going well for the Senate. Pompey, at this point, flees to Egypt, which is sort of a vassal state of the Roman Empire. It's not fully annexed at this point, but its power has waned, and it's basically subservient to this larger empire. Pompey flees to Egypt, and Ptolemy, brother, husband, co-ruler, currently at war with Cleopatra Ptolemy. Not to be confused with her other brother, later husband, later co-ruler Ptolemy.
Of course.
That one kills Pompey.
Say like bad Ptolemy and good Ptolemy?
We could do bad Ptolemy and good Ptolemy. But I mean, the other one is also just fairly neutral. I don't know how good he was.
I mean, from Cleopatra's point of view.
We could do bad Ptolemy and Ptolemy. Mm-hmm. Which sounds like a cop show, actually.
Mm-hmm. All right.
A little bit.
We'll work on that one, too.
Yeah, we will.
So it's going to be a busy night at the...
I mean, you got to plan your spin-offs from the get-go.
Of course,
This day and age.
It's a spin-off. Oh, so it's a spin-off of Ptolemy.
Well, when we started Ptolemy, we thought Ptolemy would be the breakout character, but it turns out people really like Ptolemy.
It's weird. Ptolemy is testing through the roof, but people really don't like Ptolemy.
They don't.
Not at all.
So Ptolemy kills Pompey, who Julius Caesar is trying to kill, but Julius Caesar doesn't like that Ptolemy kills Pompey. So Julius Caesar is basically like, well, I'm going to take over Alexandria now. And so Cleopatra sees this, thinks this is my chance to get power back from my brother. And so she has herself snuck into the royal palace at Alexandria, according to most histories, rolled up in a rug. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a Looney Tunes cartoon would do it, basically.
I think that's going to be in like episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2, she kind of like has to like hide from something, and she's rolled up in a rug. And
so it's like how you'd escape from prison in like an old TV show.
Well, I feel like that should be how she makes most of her entrances.
Just like unrolling a rug into the room, and she's...
It'll be a runner. That's a great runner.
That's her Kramer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a
like,
rug.
Oh my God.
Hey, we got a new rug from the rug store. And like the rug store is owned by this crazy crew, Ptolemy, who... Always selling rugs.
Always selling rugs. He runs a rug store. What else is he going to do? Okay.
I mean, go bankrupt, maybe? That's the other option, mostly.
Yeah.
So Caesar sees Cleopatra and is like, okay, I'll make you my mistress. And she's like...
that was a healthy conversation they had.
No, it was an extremely healthy relation. Basically, the setup was...
Damn, girl.
That's
no
it.
That's it. No, that's all. When you're Julius Caesar, that is really all you need. Just damn girl.
Have you read Julius Caesar?
Yeah.
I have.
He says it no less than 15 times in that play. Yeah.
Well, it's very Shakespearean. They start their affair, and basically...
He's like, damn, Brute.
I don't get what sort of update you're going for of Julius Caesar.
Well, we're not really updating anything except for he says "damn girl" a few more times than he normally would.
A few more times. They begin their affair, and basically the setup is she'll be his mistress as long as Julius Caesar agrees not to annex Egypt and to keep it a free state. And that works for a while. Caesar kind of goes crazy for her. He builds a statue of Cleopatra. And the Romans don't like it because Julius...
Touching on everything.
Yeah. Julius Caesar is married to Calpurnia, who I believe will probably come up in the next episode, which is Julius Caesar. The Romans don't like it, among many other things that Julius Caesar is doing, so they murder him. Cleopatra is visiting Rome, along with her brother husband Ptolemy XIV, who is different from her earlier brother husband...
Who was bad Ptolemy.
Bad Ptolemy had a goatee, for listeners at home.
So, just picture that in your... Goatee Ptolemy drowned in the Nile.
And regular Ptolemy, he wasn't good. He was kind of indifferent Ptolemy. He's a little pudgy.
He looked like Kevin James.
A little bit. That's more than a little pudgy, I feel like.
Ptolemy Blart Mall Cop.
No. Tall Blart.
Tall Blart.
He just went by Talia.
Tall Blart Mall Cop. So... After Caesar's killed, Cleopatra flees back to Alexandria, and after things settle down, Mark Antony, who becomes part of the triumvirate who rules Rome, calls on her and is like, hey, prove your loyalty. And they fall in love, which is how that happens.
That's my opener at bars.
Prove your loyalty.
Hey, baby, prove your loyalty.
And
Does it work better or worse than damn girl?
Oh, geez. I'd say pretty equal rates.
Pretty equal.
Really? Because Damn Girl is not that great, but I imagine it would work far better than Prove Your Loyalty.
Well, Damn Girl is all I say when I open with Damn Girl.
And
I
you just
repeat
stare
it.
into the middle distance afterwards. So she and Mark Antony form a relationship, and by all accounts, this is the relationship Cleopatra cares most about in her life. She's actually invested in this one. They have 2 children in Alexandria named Alexander and Cleopatra, because of course. Antony even goes so far as to marry her in a traditional Egyptian-style ceremony, despite the fact that he's already married to Octavian's cousin, I want to say.
We'll just call him Ptolemy.
No, Ptolemy. Well, no, it's a lady.
I know. We can call her
So
Ptolemy
we'll
too.
call Ptolemy.
So we're calling
Ptolemia.
her a him also.
Yeah.
Ptolemia.
Ptolemia. So eventually, things between Octavian, who later become Augustus Caesar, and Mark Antony fall apart, and another civil war erupts in Rome. Things go really bad quickly for Antony, but eventually things go so badly that he begins to think Cleopatra betrayed him, and Cleopatra, hearing this, tells someone to tell him that she died. And then he hears this and kills himself. And then Cleopatra hears this and it's like, not how I planned it.
Whoops.
I thought that would help, I think.
Was there like a sad trombone sound when she heard the...
Yep. And then she had the trombonist executed.
She's got like a stable of Ptolemies just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, Cleopatra retreats. And she...
Retreats from the suicide?
Well, no. She retreats eventually to commit suicide.
Oh,
Spoiler
like to
alert.
seclusion and not like... We're talking a lot about civil wars here, and I'm picturing like battlefields and...
Well, no, she's...
taking your armies elsewhere and...
Octavian's navy has the port of Alexandria surrounded, basically.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And, of course, you were there.
Yeah, you're a Highlander, as we all know.
So, she's pinned down. She eventually kills herself with a snake. Now, there's some debate whether this was planned or more of like a suicide of opportunity. Whether, like, because basically the story is she was brought a snake.
I'm thinking like crimes of
got that
opportunity as
snake.
opposed to...
Yeah, basically. Like, she got a basket of
What
figs.
luck!
Yeah, I just picture her in a room. It's like, hey, a snake. Well, what have I got to lose? Now or never.
Roll yourself up in a rug and let the snake loose.
But no, it's between that, like, she's brought a basket of figs and there's a snake in it, and she's like, well, I have no other way out. And her asking someone to bring her a basket of
He's
figs.
checking on her figs.
Yeah.
They're really dropping the ball.
Well, at this
And
point,
she hates figs.
is that why did you bring me? I
Yeah,
asked for
like-
only green M&Ms, which have not been invented yet.
Might
Of
as
course,
well.
I did deny, like, Jason, how many times have I sent you a gift basket and
It's mostly
snake,
figs.
there's a
Mostly
snake in
figs
it?
and then a snake. Yeah.
I guess I can sympathize.
How many times have
But
you...
I don't kill myself with that snake.
Yeah.
I'd choke it with the figs.
Well, you're not
hang
so-
it up on the wall. We're
You
up to
choke it with
5.
figs.
We're up to 5. 5 that I've caught. I mean, you've sent me a lot of gift baskets. I'm sure there are a few in the apartment.
Why are
I
you sending him
appreciate
so
you.
many gift baskets?
Well, you know, big events. He went to a new DJ the other, like, he saw a DJ.
He went to a new DJ.
I-
What does
It was
that
like
mean?
at a club.
Well, I went to him.
That doesn't mean anything.
No, Brian. Brian, it makes perfect sense.
It's like some guy doing his first DJ gig.
It was
Jason
some
went.
guy doing his first DJ gig,
I thought,
Brian.
well, that's worth a gift basket.
For Jason, who was just going to it.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly we're not on the same friendship level, Brian.
I sent him a gift basket for this podcast.
A gift basket.
Well,
It's less impressive than an actual basket.
yeah, Zach's on top of his gift basket game. You need to step it up. You missed my wedding.
It's. I was wondering if that would come up on the podcast. And again, I apologize for that. Basically, Cleopatra dies, and her son... She has a son by Julius Caesar, named Caesarion, which is actually Latin for Little Caesars. Little Caesar.
Pizza. Am I right?
So...
I didn't know that was Latin for Little Caesar, because now I could say I was born by a Little Caesars. I can kill Macbeth. Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah. I was also a Little Caesar baby.
$5.99. It's a good deal.
It's how much I cost.
Caesarion takes power after Cleopatra dies, and he rules for 11 days, and then he's killed by the Romans, who then annex Egypt and becomes part of the Roman Empire. The Roman people hated Cleopatra, because she was a foreign mistress to their emperor. But the Egyptians loved her. She was, of the Ptolemaic pharaohs, they all spoke Greek, but she was the only one to actually bother to learn Egyptian. And she used, like, lavish displays of wealth. One of the famous stories about her is that at one point she bet Mark Antony that she could spend 10 million Roman bucks. Zestetri? We'll call them Roman bucks.
Wacky Caesars.
Wacky Caesar.
Caesar
For 5
$5.
Wacky Caesars, you can get 1 Caesarean.
$5.99.
With a loaf of Italian crazy bread, which they just called crazy bread. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever said.
Uh-huh.
She bet Antony that she could spend 10 million Roman bucks on 1 dinner. And so they just had 2 simple courses, and the second one was just a cup of vinegar, and she is said to have just dissolved one of her pearls in it and drank it, which is pretty gangster, I feel like.
Yes. Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah.
I think.
I would test it, but I don't have pearls.
Yeah.
Can we go back
I gotta
in
go to the
time
store.
to that mugger who killed Batman's parents and just throw vinegar on them?
Back in time to the mugger who killed... Back... That didn't actually happen. We can't go back.
Well, have you guys covered the topic of Batman yet
No,
on this
we have not.
podcast? Well, when you cover the topic of
That's not a
Batman,
topic
well,
for
when you cover the
history.
topic of Batman, you can maybe retroactively create that history, Zach. That can be in your hands.
See if Batman doesn't show up in my first alternate history and every subsequent one.
So yeah, basically that's Cleopatra. She cared about her people, she cared about her country, and keeping it free from Roman influence as much as possible. But the Romans won, and so they got to depict her as a seductress who is incredibly hungry for power, despite the fact that she's fighting against Octavian, who's trying to conquer Egypt,
Well, but
which is her country.
Let's see, like, where's her standing these days? I mean, I think by all accounts, Cleopatra is regarded as a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I mean,
That's
I guess.
wrong to
Not
use
in
that
that
word.
Not in that tone. Like a bad, not like a bad bitch.
Bad.
You gotta get that in the
like a Pam
itch.
Grier, like, kind of.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason, I believe it's your turn with your take.
That's
on
what I was thinking about.
history.
I was thinking about how this shit really goes down. I mean, I feel like, Brian, you got a lot of the things right. You got a lot of the points correct.
Thank you.
The takeaway was indeed pretty similar. So let's just rewind. I'll tell it how it happens. So Cleopatra the Seventh was born to Mark and Rebecca the Seventh in Dayton, Ohio. Just kidding, guys. It was Egypt.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But this was in 69 BCE, which is very important to the story. Cleopatra had a very rare congenital birth defect.
Were we supposed to make a 69 joke there? Was that the end?
No, that's coming later. That's coming later.
Not to spoil it.
Well-
Not to spoil a 69 joke.
Heads up, guys. The most popular joke number.
Yep.
It's when genitals and mouths get together.
Twice.
Twice, yeah. More than once.
Well,
yeah.
at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Synchronicity.
Serendipity.
Really is a symbol of teamwork.
Multiplicity.
Now that I think about it. 69 should be the
duplicity.
number that is associated with teamwork.
Yeah.
What is there a number associated with teamwork?
2, I would imagine.
At least.
And above.
Two and greater. All the way up to 69.
But not 70.
Anyway, no, not 70. That's just ridiculous. So Cleopatra had a very rare congenital birth defect that caused all of her joints and her wrists and elbows and knees to be locked at 90 degrees. And this was fucking hideous for her. Her parents hated it, because, like, while they were in Egypt, like you said, everybody loved Greek. They loved the Greeks. They did.
Did I say that?
I mean, you inferred it. It was seen to be lower to speak Egyptian. It was seen like a lower standing. Well, let me finish.
Also, when you say joints locked in 90 degrees, do you mean like...
I think he means that stereotypical Egyptian walk that people do.
Yes.
That's stereotypical Egyptian.
Everywhere she
It's a
went,
stereotype
she was
now.
reminded that she walked like an Egyptian. But you
More
know
of
what?
that.
You know, eventually she was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I gotta be me. And so she repopularized that whole look. She ultimately had a halfway popular song written about it. By the Roman Emperor Caligula. And that was like way later. But she was way self-conscious about her look and her defect all the way until her middle age, so like 15. But she was technically royalty. Her parents... Technically. Even though she was just like hated for so long. Her parents could not stand her for her gross deformity, so they sent her to public school. And she fell into kind of a bad...
put kids with deformities?
Obviously. I mean...
Hey, Brian, we all went to public school, and I think we know why.
But while she was there, she fell into a bad crowd. And took up like smoking.
Fell into them.
I was going to say.
Well, because she can't really walk great.
Yeah, she was on a ledge.
Excuse me.
Just like tumbled over, and there's the bad crowd.
Yeah.
And they're
smoking
like, you want to
cigarettes
smoke?
in the smoking pit
Yeah.
below.
Yeah. Smoking, drugs, graffiti. Yeah, she did all of these things. One time she carved Principal Ramsay's ram's geese, which is, I mean, it's not very good, but it's what she did.
I mean,
She carved it
she was in high school.
Yeah, she carved it into the side of
public high school.
into the side of Principal Ramsay's pyramid, which was pretty impressive for the time because it did take her like a year and 2 months to get that carved in there, and also it was all like hieroglyphs.
So the administration was not watching super closely.
Well, that's what made it so
Or
impressive.
they
She
were
had it
just
kind of on the
curious.
DL.
Curious as to
Yeah,
what it was.
what is this? Principal Ramsay's? Oh, let's see. Let's find out where this goes. He was dead for a year by the time it was finished. But
So she had to change it to rammed geese.
great, yeah. She was going to say something much worse. I don't know. It's lost to the scrolls.
Skrulls?
The
The
scrolls.
Marvel villain?
Yep. She got mad props for that action, though, even though he was dead, even though her target was gone. Bad kids, you know? She's hanging out with them, but like she's making an influence. She was
Bad kids, she's hanging out with them.
I don't know why you're laughing. That's part of the theme song to our new show.
It's all of me.
All of me.
all of me. Like she got high fives all around from everybody. I mean, she could do up high all right, but like down low was kind of tricky with her gross hands.
Couldn't she just use the other hand?
Yeah, but it was like, she didn't really go for that. But this whole popularity, this whole kind of like bad bitch in her attracted the attention of the captain of the football team, her brother Greg. And you know what? She started getting into fucking. She started like right away. I know.
As you do.
I know. And we've talked about this. I feel like that's already been glossed over enough. But she and Greg didn't do it much. It was just a couple times. And she decided, you know what? I'm not feeling it. Not into this dude. He's my brother, Greg.
It's weird to have sex when I'm stuck in this position.
Yep.
All the time.
So she took a little trip over to,
It's also weird that there's someone named Greg
Yeah, well-
in ancient Egypt.
yeah, everyone in her family was named Greg. So she
So
went
it
over.
was like Greg the 13th then.
Yeah, they just called him Greg though.
I mean, that was his jersey number.
Yeah.
That's how they did those. That's how they assigned
That's
the
how
jersey
they
numbers.
invented jersey numbers based on like what number of human you are.
What number of human?
So she took a trip to the Isle of Lesbos and just, started just learning about her body, feeling things out.
No, this was college.
This was college.
This was
yeah.
college.
Just kind of taking some time, not like to date anybody per se, but she's going on dates, but she doesn't really have any commitment. Like she doesn't want to like settle down. Doesn't want anything super serious. Needless to say, this did not go over well with her parents, Mark and Rebecca. They were super,
Greg Mark.
super. Well, Greg Mark.
Mark is short for Greg.
Oh, right. Of course.
They were very conservative Egyptian Baptists. They more or less disowned her at that point. And it's Isis and Osiris, not Isis and Nephthys. She was like, you know what? Fuck it. I gotta be me. And the people fucking loved her for it. They loved her. Julius Caesar got a gotta be me tattoo across his chest. And she was like, damn. And then they started making babies immediately.
Like a Beyonce figure.
Well, I'm rethinking the rest of this now. Nonetheless, her girlfriends were like, girl, you better slow it down. You just met this man. Mama knew what mama wanted, and it was power. She wanted to have power over the men. And so she got it. Right around that time, Caligula was in his guitar-driven new wave phase, as we all know from the history books.
Of course, yeah. When he went electric and he was a genius.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he wrote that very, very popular song about her, Walk the Egyptians. He sold it to the Bangles. It was great. And everyone just
Walk
lost.
the Egyptians?
Walk like an Egyptian.
Okay.
She
'Cause I
sold-
think you confused it with Walk the Dinosaur.
I may have, but he also wrote that. So I mean, they're. I don't have time to explain this to you right now.
It's so condescending.
So everybody lost it. Everybody's way in full Cleopatra mode. They love her. She got a hieroglyph designed after her.
Yeah.
She got an all expenses paid trip to
Her name.
Rome. And her parents died of East Nile virus, which is like twice as bad. But then,
They just called it Nile virus because it's right there.
well, it's across
Never
the Nile.
crossed. Never crossed the river.
Julius Caesar, or Juicy, as she called him, he got assassinated because he wouldn't stop saying that "I gotta be me" thing, and like just how everyone was fucking sick of it.
And damn girl.
And damn, girl. Well, I mean, he said that too. That's funny. That wasn't in my That was in his story, but I mean, I guess there was some crossover. So she snuck back into Egypt in a rug, and she dated around a little bit, had a couple more kids, nothing serious. But
she had a couple kids,
no
big.
But she was in a rut at that point, and she was
in a rug at that.
She was in a rug.
It was her preferred method of travel.
Yep. She was stuck as a pharaoh.
She was
a mother.
God.
Yeah. Just always behind a desk doing some papyrus work. It was time for a change. Her on-again, off-again boyfriend just died. And she wasn't
So it's very off again at that point.
It became off again, but she wasn't too broken up about it, but it gave her an idea. Hey, I can kill myself.
Yeah.
That is an idea.
But here's the thing. Once you are immortalized in song, you get immortalized for real. And she didn't realize that. So that snake thing, it happened. It was figs in a basket, turns out. Didn't notice a snake somehow, but I think I'm dead.
Figs in a basket.
Figs in a basket with a snake. And she kind of passed out and everyone was like, oh no, she's dead. Roll her up in a rug. And
in her honor.
Yeah. I mean, because she loved it so much.
That's why
she died as she lived.
That's why people roll corpses up in rugs today.
Right.
But she didn't actually die. In fact, like she kind of...
Oh god, she got rugged alive.
She got rugged alive, but it was more like... You guys know the movie Mannequin? Mm-hmm. So they based Kim Cattrall on her. Not Kim Cattrall's character. They based Kim Cattrall on Cleopatra.
You based a person on another person.
Yes. So she had to update her appearance every century or so, every generation, just so that she wouldn't get caught as hey, you're like that old Egyptian pharaoh, which was a popular phrase in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. But where is she today, you ask? Oh,
where is she today, Jason?
Oh, she's around.
The fucking asshole answer. I love it.
Are you implying that you're Cleopatra?
Well, hang on.
No, I wish. Oh my god. That would be the best ending to this story. And honestly, the reality that I want this to turn into, however, no, that is not how it is written. Sadly, no. She's Jennifer Lopez.
Star of The Boy Next Door.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah, that's why she married Mark Anthony.
Yep.
She misheard his name.
Fuck you.
By the time that they were married, she'd already committed to it, and she was like, well, they got a divorce 10 years later.
They got divorced?
Yeah, 2014.
You seem weirdly upset that Mark Anthony and J-Lo got divorced.
Well, Mark Anthony and Cleopatra.
I mean, whatever.
So that's...
J-Lo Patrick.
That's where she is right now. American Idol, hit records... The first draft of Jenny from the Block was actually Jenny from the 50-ton block of limestone. That was a little too on the nose.
Well, Zach, I believe it's your turn to take over the proceeding.
So, toughie guys. One end, there is the true-to-life story of Cleopatra, which is fairly interesting. There's a lot of Ptolemies.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many Ptolemies.
Yeah.
Also, let's keep in mind that Jason's story established that anytime you write a song about a person, they become immortal. So that's...
Yeah, and those rules are gonna have to be fleshed out if I accept that theory, because, what if you write a song retroactively?
Doesn't matter, they become immortal, I feel like.
I mean, but if they're buried at that point, then,
Then they're just trapped in
they're
the
just
ground
trapped.
Screaming to be freed.
Yeah.
So the best vengeance is killing a person and then writing a song about them.
American Pie was the worst thing to ever happen.
Oh, no. Oh, Joe DiMaggio, where did you go? You're screaming in your grave, Joe DiMaggio.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that's true today. It could be that the magic has left our world.
Okay, I accept that possibility.
I just think that Cleopatra, as an unwanted child from these terrible parents with this horrible deformity, who lives in this terrible patriarchal society and is like, you know what? I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna take back my identity, and I'm gonna not only do that.
Are you intentionally rhyming that?
But I'm gonna live for fucking ever. I mean, that's too beautiful a story to be kept.
Oh, beauty is abound in that story.
There's an adversity to that story. That shit's it's remember the Titans times 4.
Pushed by Sapphire.
Oh, thank you.
Remember the Titans times 4. I want that blurb to be
all
on
of those Titans
on a book cover now.
So I'm gonna have to go with Jason's story. Also because it's going to make next week more interesting.
Yep, that's true.
Sweet.
That's true. Jason, you are the victor.
Huzzah!
And to you go the spoils.
What are the spoils this week?
The beer that you brought.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Except the ones we drank.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, Jason, thank you for being on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, thank you as always for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for everyone here at The Religionists, I'm Brian Flynn.
I am Zach Powers.
Damn, girl.
Jason Wardell.
I'm Jason Wardell.
Jason Wardell.
I got to do my outro too.
That's your outro now. That's your thing now.
So every time Jason's on the show,
Damn.
You're gonna hit the bars now
Well, okay.
and just damn girl it up. And then
Gotta be me.
your wife's gonna be like, stop saying that to me.
She has.
She
has.
That was part of your vows, right? You wrote your own.
his vows started, damn girl.
Damn, girl.
Damn girl.
For her and me.
We'll see you next time.